Welcome. This is Jazz Stokes. Sure, go ahead. And I do not subscribe to your ideas of gender. So, if you don't want to get over it, you should probably get with it. Because that is the change. I set a timer and I've already messed up in my mind. I've already said something without actually thinking before I said it, which is important because it's a thing that we do quite often, and we do it regularly to each other because we have, unfortunately, forgotten, it seems, how to communicate and what communication takes, which is unity and work. Work, perhaps not the best word to use, because work implies that you don't want to do it. Arguably, we do have opportunities that are gifted to us all day. We get the opportunity to take breaks, to drink water, to eat breakfast, and other things. And those opportunities are fantastic, and they are things that we should always remain grateful for. However, certain individuals, in fact, have not been able to access very specific opportunities. And they're sick of it. I am one of them. I have been spending some time reviewing things that I've written in the past, trying to make decisions about my next steps forward, because I am planning on releasing another CD and a collection of work, and I have a lot of other things that have been pressing that I have been letting take my attention, steal it, arguably. That hasn't been very fair or equitable to the other individuals and entities and creatures and people that I love, that I want to be spending my time with. Those are the pressures for production, the need, the drive to continue. And that passion and that drive is actually really important because it does keep you going, which we do need to do. But sometimes we have to rest. I've been speaking with various individuals and my family, and noticing things that are repeating, behaviors that have been learned from a history of trauma, and learning a lot as well as I listen to their stories. The things that I have learned and am grateful for, if I were to list them off right now. 1, family and stories. I am learning just how big my family is. And part of it is kind of scary because I come from family spread out enough and extensive enough that arguably I should come to any sort of a date with a family tree. Let's double check and make sure we're not too closely related before we start doing any business that might produce something. I want to read a thing that I wrote and this journal from my school in the past, 2003. At this moment, I wish there was a real animal that could fly and walk the earth, but I'll go with a flock of birds. This was an assignment, by the way. Or maybe just one. I know the primary reason is because of freedom. When most people think of birds, they think of freedom because birds fly. At this moment in my life, freedom is something I want more of right now. Also because birds travel together. They live in nature and the city. Also because of their chirping. Some birds chirp funny, others beautifully. In either way, it makes people smile, which I love to do. That is very true. I love making people smile. That task has gotten extremely hard nowadays. And it is now endangering me to make people smile, to make people come to negotiations and agreements, to try and rehabilitate two sides or two parts, to build a puzzle and actually complete it. That is our struggle. And that is what I hope that we are all aiming to do. But I do see a lot, both sides. Both? Is it really only two? My argument, I don't think so. I'm going to read another poem. I did set a timer so that we could only be so long. And I wanted to mention that today I learned a lot about belief. Because belief is tricky. Faith also. There are a lot of individuals that are very upset about religion and spirituality. Those two are not the same. And belief in something is still belief. It's important that we realize that you can believe in something that in fact isn't real. We can actually lie to ourselves enough that we start to have faith in a thing that has been promised to us by someone who never, ever, ever intended to let us have a thing. We gotta stop waiting. There are moments where, yes, you should resist. Going with the flow also means that if we're all jumping, we're all jumping. That leaves only, hopefully, the last person on the cliffside to say, oh, I think we're going to pass on that one. That opportunity doesn't really look like it's going to work for me. Poem. Because less than 1 minute, it'll just be really loud and arguably annoying. This has a title. I do not know what it is. It is from an experience. There was fresh snow on the ground where she had laid. No evidence of the event for me to see, and no food for the soup kitchen. No satisfaction that I could glean. No use trying to help someone who isn't aware of what they need. How oppressed people know without being told, a natural insight. This is not how it's supposed to be. Maybe the scream echoes through any mind that has managed even for a moment to touch the divine. We focus on the path that many call bliss, while the road most of us end up taking, pain, loss, grief, rejection, dejection. We use our broken hearts. There it goes. All right. We're at 9 minutes. Well, 10. I'll turn it off. I'll read the poem. And then I will... go about doing other things. Returning to read you this poem. And then post this so that you can listen. Starting again. There was fresh snow on the ground where she had lain. Oof. There was fresh snow on the ground where she had laid. No evidence of the event for me to see, and no food for the soup kitchen. No satisfaction that I could glean. No use trying to help someone who isn't aware of what they need. How oppressed people know without being told. A natural insight. This is not how it's supposed to be. Maybe the scream echoes through any mind that has managed even for a moment to touch the divine. We focus on the path that many call bliss, while the road most of us end up taking, pain, loss, grief, rejection, dejection. We use our broken hearts to build a buffer, our guts heavy with aching for a world where no one has to suffer unnecessarily. Awake in a time, out of time, and a place that looks nothing like we imagined because we can no longer sleep. Our dreams only nightmares of death, poverty, hunger, war. Why does oppression run so deep? I would give all the blood in these veins to make it feel better. And so we do. Every drop expended. But it'll take more than just you. We keep going, madly in pursuit of answers that make more sense than 42. All right. I love you. I hope you know that. And I know that you know that. And I also know that there's going to be a moment, yesterday, today, maybe in a few seconds, where you're going to doubt that. You're going to doubt yourself, and you're going to doubt that there is somebody working with you instead of against you. Always.